Here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K and B, you can't fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop. He picked up the hefty steel cane, weighing it in his grasp. It was heavier than his billy club, the better to bash the kingpin's brains in. He recalled his father's brutalized features, beaten past recognition in a lonely alley near Let's do this again. Okay. He picked up the hefty steel cane, weighing it in his grasp. It was heavier than his billy club, the better to bash the kingpin's brains in. He recalled his father's brutalized features, beaten past recognition in a lonely alley nearly 2 decades ago. I've been waiting for this day, Daredevil said, his voice devoid of the roiling emotions churning inside. Ever since I was 12 years old. He raised the cane above his head as Fisk closed his eyes, waiting for the end. This is for my father. Daredevil swung the cane down with every fiber of his being for his father, for Elektra, for the innocent sacrificed in the Kingpin's vile games, for himself. Crack. The mighty crash startled the Kingpin, who opened his eyes to look up at Daredevil unhurt. The cane was shattered in pieces in Fisk's head. I don't understand, Fisk said. I made a promise once. I intend to keep it, Daredevil replied. Outside, a cacophony of sirens grew near. They're coming for you, Fisk said. Not for me, Daredevil replied. Haven't you heard? The word is out on Kingpin. For the first time in his life, Fisk looked afraid. I swear, I'll tell them who you are, Fisk cried out. Yeah? Who are you going to tell? The boys in Rikers? Tell them that you're beat by a blind man? It'll be like blood in the water, Daredevil said. I'll get out. I know, Daredevil replied. I'll be waiting. He threw the splinter remains of the cane down on the ground. Justice is served. What up, y'all? Little intense opening. I got the novelization for the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, and I do really love this movie. I think this movie's great. Me and Doug's talked about it a bunch of times. Like, this is just a great movie. And Ben Affleck as Daredevil is really fun. So hopefully we get to see that return in the new Deadpool 3 movie. But what up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, and the place to be for a Paper Saber universe. And this is the this isn't the New World Podcast. What I'm talking about. I'm going crazy here. This is the Sexy Ninjacast, the podcast, vlogcast, audiocast, videocast, whatever you want to call it for that ass. Doing audio today only. It's been a hell of a month, man. You know, I've been really diving deep into the wrestling stuff and really been like just focusing on that. And I just been having a really bad month mentally. You know, I had a panic attack a couple days ago that I'm still trying to shake off and stuff like that. Then we watched a movie last night, The Iron Claw, released by A24, you know, and about the Von Erichs and stuff like that. And I got a lot of messages in that movie, especially from myself as a person, as a husband, a father, you know, dealing with emotions and not letting emotions show. And you got to watch The Iron Claw, man. It is depressing as fuck, but it's such a good movie, such a crazy story about that family and how tragedy after tragedy after tragedy just keeps striking and stuff like that. But you know, there's a really great moment. I won't spoil it, but there's a really great moment that just brought me to tears, you know, and it's about showing emotion, you know, and as I was growing up, you know, it was always been told, man up, you know, men don't cry and stuff like that, you know, and it's one of those things that I've always fought against, but also too, it kind of hardened my shell as I was growing up because I kind of built a barrier in my brain of like, you know, I'm always goofy. I'm always funny. I'm always on, you know, I'm always on, as my wife says, you know, there's always a front to something. I'm always like, yeah, how life is great. I'm so happy and stuff like that, you know. And I'll joke and I'll say things just to make people laugh, and you know. And it goes to like the other day, I hit my shin so bad, it hurt so bad, and I started laughing. And that's how I deal with pain. I laugh so hard. The harder I laugh, the more in pain I am. But that's what I do. My daughter's like, "What are you, a psychopath?" I was like, I don't know sometimes. But this past week in general was just something, one thing after another. And I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to keep my mind right and everything like that. I'm trying to get my distractions. I'm trying to get my bubble back intact to where I'm okay with myself. And, you know, and this mental game is crazy, man, you know, like to anxiety, to depression, and all this stuff. And as I was saying, when I was growing up, that's what I was told to do is, you know, buck up, man up, you know, emotions, what emotions, you know? And it's one of those things that it carries through a lot of generations, especially before me, you know, that like you're not allowed to show emotion. And that's why I love today's age, because you're allowed to be who you are. You're allowed to have those emotions. You're allowed to show those emotions, you know. But there's still people out there that look at you like, what are you, crying again? You know, crying at movie? I was like, man, I love crying at movies. You know, that's why I know that the art of that filmmaking got to me in some sort of way and stuff like that. So, I've been just slowly getting myself together this morning. I'm going to go see Godzilla Kong. So my review for that's going to happen here shortly. I just wanted to get on here quick before I went to go see the movie, just to let my thoughts out, just to let my brain go. And that's why I'm so excited, because I get to go hang out with the homie Doug. It's been a minute since we've hung out, a long minute since we've hung out. And now we're going to the movies, the one things we love doing. And we go on Mondays. You want to know why we go on Mondays? Because it is such a better experience. We went to go see, I think I mentioned on the last podcast, Late Night with the Devil. And I had, of course, shitty luck, shitty person sitting behind me. He was obviously drunk, kicked me with his boot. And I remember texting Doug afterwards, like, hey, the streak lives. Anything outside of Sin 1 is a sin. And Sin 1 is a theater. We go to Harkins Theaters. That's what's here in Flagstaff, Arizona. You know, and sadly, I've never been to an AMC. I think the only other theater chain I've ever been to is an Allen Theaters. And that's in New Mexico and stuff like that. But yeah, once again, bad luck strikes. So today, though, we're going to Sin 1. Is 12 o'clock is the showing. There's really not going to be anybody there, which is really, really cool. So that's why we go to the movies this early. During the summer, it's even better because there's like a 9 o'clock show in the morning. We've gone to 8:30 shows in the morning, and there's no one. It's fantastic, and that's just the way we've gotten comfortable with seeing movies. We don't need to go to the premieres. We don't need to go stand outside for 12 hours just to see a movie at midnight anymore. You know, I love the system now. You got tickets that, you know, and I hear people, some nerds, go be like, man, you remember The Hunt, though? You remember that? Oh, I was like, yeah, but I remember the last time I did that. We did that for, I think, X-Men Days of Futures Past. That was the last time we all did the hoorah of standing there in the morning. I could be wrong, but I just remember I got sick as a dog the next day. Like it was gloomy. It was rainy. It was just a bad, like, okay, why do we do this? This is not fun anymore as we get older. And as you get older, you realize things that you thought were fun are just not as fun anymore. So I love the system now. You can buy your ticket, your seat's assigned, you can walk in, you know, get there, and just, you don't have to worry about fighting with people. I think that was the biggest thing that I used to like when we were young. Like, you know, we would hunt for those front row seats, middle center, you know, didn't matter. You know, that's what you had to do back in the day. But now I love it. I'm loving everything today when you go to the movies, just because it's assigned and you're good to go. But yeah, man, catching up on life, catching up on everything. I'm watching that. I just watched the latest episode of X-Men 97. The Goblin Queen lives. And we're going to get Cable here soon in the show. This was a heavy episode too. I'm really enjoying it. I think I brought up in the last podcast about nostalgia. Is it too much? Are we doing too much with nostalgia or anything like that? So that's what I've been thinking about really hard lately, but also too, nostalgia is comforting. And X-Men 97 hits all the feels, all the storytelling it's doing and stuff like that. And like today, when we go see Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, I'm hoping it's just brainless fun. I've heard mixed things, like it's more of a Kong movie than it is a Godzilla movie, and I'm like, I don't want really a Kong movie, I want Godzilla, but I heard that the fights were epic, the human story is very bare minimum, so I was just like, okay, well, and going into that, everyone says, I'm here for the monsters. And that's what we said before. We waved those flags high. It's like, I'm not here for the human story. I'm here for the kaijus. I'm here for Godzilla to whoop some ass. That's what I'm here for. But then we got Godzilla -1. Oh, perfection. A beautiful movie. A tale that was told with Godzilla in it. And I hold that movie to a high regard. And it's funny is, Big Daddy texted me yesterday. He's like, hey, he goes, when is it streaming? I was like, I don't think it's going to be streaming till May. I sent him an article, and that's what the article said. I was like, I just want the movie now. And they're taking so long. And from what I read in the article is that they didn't want to coincide with Godzilla and Kong. So they want to let Godzilla and Kong do its thing. And Godzilla Kong did great in the box office. For 2024, Godzilla is reigning supreme. And I was thinking about the past Godzilla movies. I really didn't like Godzilla vs. Kong. Maybe I should revisit that movie. But I love Godzilla King of the Monsters. We had that on the TV in the background at work the other day, and I just kept tuning in and out. And then it got to my favorite scene where homie goes down there. They got to set the nuke to wake up Godzilla. And he's like, my old friend. Because he's going to die. And Godzilla's like eyes open. He's like, oh yeah, got you, homie. I got you. Boom. And I was like, oh, I remember like tearing up in that scene. But then Godzilla wakes up. And that's just such a fun movie, and they really had that charm of what Godzilla is, and like the dun 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 dun, everything I love about the character. So I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see Godzilla X Kong, and this time I'm going to put my brain to the side because I think with Godzilla versus Kong, I just think there's just too much. Yes, we got Mechagodzilla and everything like that, but it was just one of those movies I felt there was just too much going on just to set up Kong and Godzilla. And yes, they had 2 fights in the movie and stuff like that. Then they had to team up to fight Mechagodzilla and stuff like that. But you want to know what else is crazy? Is with a lot of Godzilla going on in my life lately, there's a Godzilla, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. It's a series that's coming to an end on issue 7. I finally caught up to issue 6. You want to talk about batshit crazy. That is batshit crazy. Lex Luthor is in charge of Mechagodzilla. Ra's al Ghul took a Titan and took it to the Lazarus pit. Yeah. Godzilla is tied to the bottom of the sea with the 9th metal that Aquaman puts on his ankle, so he's stuck down there. Superman got his ass kicked because of Shazam. Billy thought he could take on Godzilla, but no, even Clark was like, hold on, and he got blasted by Godzilla, got taken down and stuff like that. And the team was like, oh, shit, And we got Gorilla Grodd, who's bowing down to King Kong, and he takes over King Kong, and he takes over Kara and everything. And so now we're in the big final battle. And my brother was like, man, I told him, I was like, yo, this is crazy, man. He goes, right? I was like, Ra's al Ghul's now got his own Titan, the Lex Luthor and Legion of Doom's got their own Mechagodzilla and their own Titans fighting, and now Superman finally woke up in the final issue. Spoilers, by the way. And he went and he goes to Godzilla and I think he's just going to tell him, like, hey, I realized something. I don't know what I dreamt of or whatever, but I think you are the protector of your Earth. I am the protector of my Earth. So we're going to work together because our Earth is in trouble and you can help us. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Who's calling me? Get out of here. So that's going on. Also caught up on the new Ultimate Universe. I reviewed the first issue of Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, and how much I love the concept of like this Peter Parker is getting a second chance. Well, not even a second chance, but everyone, like his life was taken away from him by the maker. Like his life, these superheroes were not meant to be because the maker went back and made that happen. But now that he's like, I think he's like 30s, almost 40s, he gets bitten by the radioactive spider, and he's trying to be a hero. Like, you know, he's trying to make himself a hero. His daughter May finds out, and she helps him design, you know, the classic blue and red suit and everything, because he's rocking like it's all black at first because he's trying to figure out his powers. There's a great moment with I believe it was Shocker. He goes and he's like, Shocker's ready to rob this bank, and this Peter, young and fresh, well, not even young, old and fresh in this game of being a superhero, goes up to him, and he's like, hey man, I know. He's like, who are you? I'm people who are meant to stop you, your kind of people. And Shocker's like, oh, okay, you know what, man, you're so good at this. He's like, really? Oh, that's cool, man. And Peter's so gullible. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. You have right in my ways in the world and everything like that. He goes, let's put it there. And Peter's like, wow, this superhero thing is really fucking cool. And then he puts his hand out there to shake Shocker, and all of a sudden Shocker's like, yeah, I'm Shocker. Pa-pow! He got him twice too. The second time around, he sees him again. He's like, hey man, I'm really sorry. Like, my wife is dying and stuff like that. And Peter stops and he's like, oh man, I'm so sorry, dude. Well, you know, wait a minute. Is that the truth? Because I don't know. You tell me. But bam, gets shocked again. Oh man. And then we have this new Green Goblin, and it's Harry. But it's such a good story. We're on issue 3. Jonathan Hickman. I can't praise that man enough, man. But the Ultimate Universe is in good hands. Black Panther was really cool. Ultimate Black Panther. You know, basically Wakanda's going to war with Moon Knight. We got the X-Men. That was really deep too. Beautiful art. So a lot of great stuff in the Ultimate Universe. I want to know where else they're going. What else we're doing. You know, this whole Ultimate Invasion thing happened, and I'm along for the ride. So next up is my Nightwing books, X-Men 97. Like this is like a prelude to the show, so I'm excited to read that. You know, a lot of great things that I've distracted my brain with, and I'm in a lot better place than I was, since that panic attack. And I had that panic attack in front of my coworkers, and I kind of got embarrassed because I'm always like, I'm Mr. Tough Guy. No, I'm not Mr. Tough Guy, but I'm always keep it together, you know, even though I get stressed here and there. They know that, you know, I really showed some vulnerability, and I got to get that out of my brain. It's not vulnerability. It's just being a human. You know, I had a lot of shit that built up, and it just all came out at once. And shout out to the homie that helped calm me down and taught me some breathing exercises. So it's nothing but love and respect there. So, but that's how life is going right now. Doug is on his way to come pick me up so we can watch this movie, and I can't wait to review the movie with y'all, just because I'm excited. I'm excited for Godzilla X Kong because 1, it's the movie theater. 2, it's just to get away in my brain. You know, just a fun, like, fuck it, let's get out of here. You know, let's go visit that big crazy lizard and that big ape and everything like that. Let's see him whoop some ass, the Scar King, whatever. I want to know why Godzilla's pink. And my favorite meme is after Godzilla watched a Barbie movie. And I'm hoping, I don't think so, because I kind of got it confirmed. I was like, maybe this is Space Godzilla? Maybe? Huh? No? Yeah, well, we'll see, because I haven't seen the movie yet. Also shout out to the homies. He's like, you need to see Dune. I'm 25% in the first Dune because everyone keeps telling me how great Dune 2 is. And I'm like, I'll get to it. I was not the biggest Dune person, but do you like Star Wars though? This is where George stole everything. I'm like, George didn't steal. You know, he got ideas. You know, that's just anything, and any creator ever that's creating now is taking things from other things that they're like, oh, that's cool. Look at that aspect. You know, we watched this movie, Rotten Tail, on Shudder. Joe Bob. I love Joe Bob. So the Joe Bob segments were great. The movie was fucking terrible. They were trying very hard to have that trauma feel, and it just didn't work. And it was one of those movies where it's like, have you ever seen The Gingerbread Man or Jack Frost? The killer Jack Frost character, or whatever. And they all have that weird type voice. Same thing with this Rotten Tail, because this scientist gets bit by a radioactive, I'm just saying radioactive, a rabbit, and he turns into a rabbit, and he has these weird, quirky moments of like, I'm gonna talk like this because I'm a fucking asshole, and it's just like, yeah, and that actor is just trying way too hard, like way too hard. Everybody was acting way too hard in it, and I was like, I get what you're doing here. I get that you're influenced by a lot of movies, and I can feel the trauma of it here, but it's just not working for me. So I was like, just fast forward to the Joe Bob segments, we'll watch those. Watch some great Curb Your Enthusiasm. I wish we could all be like Larry sometimes. Great stuff there. I'm very excited to see where this finale is going to go, because this is the end of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I got to thank my awesome wife for showing me Larry. Larry has a lot of great things that I wish I could say and I wish I could do, but that's why we have him in this form. And then we can go back and revisit him, with all these seasons and stuff like that. So, and it's after this, it's over, but it's not, because you can always rewatch. And Larry is very rewatchable. Then you'll have your favorite episodes. You'll have your favorite moments. So that's everything in the media. But I hear that, I see that Doug is on his way, so I'm going to get ready. But when I come back, we're going to talk about Godzilla x Kong, the New Empire. I hope you're ready, and I hope it's fire. I made a rhyme there. All right, y'all. Well, catch you on the other side.
2 hours later.
Your first thought.
Not the worst one I've ever seen, but not the best.
I text my brothers immediately. Meh.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't hate it.
I know this might be controversial to what you think, but I do like it more than the first one, than the Bryan Cranston one.
I think anything's better than the Bryan Cranston version.
But this one, yeah. I mean, there were some really good parts and some meh parts and some confusing as hell parts.
And, like the Scar being the big bad guy really wasn't the big bad guy.
No, he was the, what's his name? Scar, actually. He was the Lion King Scar, where he has no power on his own, but he's got those around him that he can manipulate enough to do what he wants.
Yeah, and I don't know. The whole, what Earth inside of Earth and another Earth again?
Yeah, the hollow Earth.
I don't know. I thought the movie was okay. Godzilla was definitely was in the background for most of it. Mm-hmm. Just powering up because he's getting ready for World War III. Yeah. I just like how the government was like, he's killing these big titans for us. Just let him destroy everything around him and kill millions of people.
It wasn't the government, actually. It was
Monarch. Yeah, but
the government wanted to take control of Monarch because of all the shit that was going on. And you're like, that's not going to turn anything better. What are you going to do? You literally killed Godzilla 2 movies ago, and you had to bring him back because you fucked up real bad.
Yeah, that's a great scene, though. When they bring him back and he's all like, bye, my friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, I don't know. The whole Kong thing, I don't know. I don't care for Kong that much to be like, woohoo, but he has a better dental plan than us.
Yes.
So.
I also thought it was kind of interesting that, in the beginning of the movie, he kind of looked slightly different than into the end. His facial structure really kind of gave me, dad vibes at the end.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning, he just kind of seemed like the gruff old guy. But no, at the end, he was just like, I'm a dad. And he had, that chin to it. And you're just like, what the hell?
Well, look at what happened to Godzilla. He went and got all the nuclear power he could, and then he got ripped.
Yeah.
When he came out of that ice, I was like, whoa, he's not chunky no more.
Didn't get longer arms, though. Still got those tiny little guys.
The end was cool. I was like, okay, fights. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, they're going to Earth. Oh, they're only fine for a little bit. It's not going to be that long.
Literally, the entire premise to put the Rio de Janeiro thing in there, in the trailer picture, is so that they could have a 5-minute fight.
Yeah, and, there's some points in this movie that the music cues were weird for me. Really weird. The music, and once again, the humans, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, here's a tribe. Oh, that's cool.
Remember that tribe that was wiped out? It's not wiped out anymore.
Yeah, they went below.
Yeah. Well, some of them were already there. The ones up top got screwed over.
Yeah, so then the podcast guy, still don't care for him. I was like, you're not funny. You're like, all your little cues that are supposed to make the crowd laugh and be those moments of like, oh, ha 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 ha, ha I'm with you, buddy. I'm like, no, can we get him stomped out? Like,
one guy got eaten. Like one of the few times someone got eaten in the movie, which you're like, that happened a lot in the other Godzilla movies. It happened a crud ton on Skull Island. But
I thought that the pilot that took him down there, I thought that was going to be the Ghidorah hater or whatever, that hates his podcast. I was like, I guess that's clever. Nope,
we're not going to be that smart.
Yeah, because the way they set up that, I felt like that was a setup for a joke when he's like, and there's Ghidorah hater, whatever. I was like, oh, that's going to play. Then when they got that guy that's being a real dickhead, I was like, he has to be the Ghidorah hater. That'll be kind of funny if it is, And but no, they never come back to that ever again.
You know what's funny is, actually, now that I'm thinking more and more on it, this movie gave me a lot of Transformer 2 vibes. Not just the scene when they're in Cairo, but so do you remember in I want to say it's the first movie where the person from the government agency copies the Transformer sound and gives it to the black guy?
Oh, yeah.
And then he gets dragged along for the rest of the journey because of it. And I'm just like, he was supposed to be the comic relief, and they did that again. And now I'm really wondering.
I feel like he did a better job, though.
Oh yeah.
Man, you don't say nothing. You don't say nothing in here. It was her.
It was her. Yeah. After eating like 12 donuts or whatever.
See that? I ate the whole plate. See, that's we could reference that, and it's funny. This guy, not funny.
No.
And the other guy, Ace Ventura guy, I was just like, he's just there.
He's there to be the wilderness dude who knows everything going on, even though he really shouldn't have a frame of context to it. Like,
he knew a lot.
Yeah, he was just kind of like, I'm sensing something, and you're like, what the fuck? Are you Ace Ventura, or are you freaking Dr. Xavier? Like, I feel something in this area.
And all of a sudden, like, I love my kiss, but I Was Made for Loving You comes out, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I was like, and then when they brought in his little hand, arm, or whatever thing, I was like, okay, man, you are selling me so many toys. Like, there was a point I was going to go to you and be like, man, I want this action figure set. Like, and Shimo,
I think it's
Shimo, I kind of went the other way after that thing was broken, because they don't explain the little knife thingy. Like,
no. But it's also funny because the Titans typically are sentient living creatures who, yes, they're pretty instinctually based, but they still have, like, things that they do. But for some reason at the end of the movie, he's Kong's dog now.
I know, right? I was like, weren't you just owned by an ape? And you were like, hey, I don't want to do this no more. Okay, fine, I'll do this because you have the little thingy.
But this one's nice to me.
He pets my chin.
I also like that the spine that, like, was giving everyone else problems, Godzilla just grabbed it and was like, nope! Just ripped it in half with his teeth. And you're just like, okay!
I thought missed opportunity when Scar was frozen. I was like, oh, here he's going to throw him up, and Godzilla's just going to go, ba-ba.
I thought that's how, because I swear, right before he does that, Godzilla's charging.
Yeah, he is.
And it's just like, wait, so did Godzilla just charge, and then he shoots up at the sky to get rid of the freezing stuff? But I'm just like, that seems like that was a wasted opportunity where he could have just recharged again and done
Or he could have thrown him up, then, like, hit him on the way.
On through that, like, clear up the sky.
But no, just straight up Kong's murder.
Yeah. But now Kong is a creature that can literally cause an ice age, so that's something.
Yeah, but I don't know. That creature really went like, oh, I'm cool now. Sorry, y'all. I'm really sorry about that. It's that little woo thing that really got me going.
See, and I kind of thought that when it got, like, taken off and it kind of saw that it was going to freeze it so that the Scar King couldn't get to it again.
I thought when that thing was broken or whatever, I thought then Shimu was going to become the real threat when it was let loose, and then they beat up Scar, and Kong and Godzilla had to go and fight. Then it was like, oh no,
well, we're good now, I guess.
It was like in Godzilla versus Kong. I think that's why I found it so funny. It was like, here's Kong and Godzilla, they finally fight. Okay, cool. Godzilla beats Kong's ass, and then here's Mechagodzilla out of nowhere. It's like, here you go. Here's the second fight. It's like, oh, now he has to bring back Kong for him to team up with Kong to fight Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm. Which it was kind of neat when they had that fight in Cairo that like Kong won initially. Like he beat Godzilla and then went like, okay, now I'm taking you back with me.
Well, Mothra is the one that's like, hey.
No. Before that.
Oh, wait.
He just starts beating with his fist, with his new fist. He beats Godzilla into the ground and starts dragging him by his tail.
Godzilla, huh?
Yes. Starts dragging him into the near the wormhole, and then Godzilla charges up and fires at him, and he goes, "Oh shoot!" And then Mothra shows up right when Godzilla's about to take him out that time. But I was like, Godzilla won the initial fight this time, and Godzilla hadn't actually won against Kong so far.
You know, thinking about it, even though Godzilla charged up the whole movie, really the only thing it affected is the bringing back the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Maybe that's what he was planning on. Maybe he was just like, I got this all ahead. Because, like, the little girl was seeing, like, images of things going on and possibly things of the future. So, maybe Godzilla's psychic, too, and see the future.
Hey, he's got a little cat bed now, too.
Yes.
In, the Colosseum.
The Colosseum in Rome. I think that was the most adorable thing is that he fights that Titan there and then goes there and they're just like, Godzilla is now here.
He's asleep.
And the person's just like, well, let's just hope he stays asleep. Like, what's the problem?
No, my favorite thing about it, I was talking to somebody, I was like, I love this version of this American Godzilla so much because he just naps. He goes and does his thing, and he just sleeps.
Yeah.
Because in the Monarch show, I haven't seen the Monarch, I've only seen this clip, but they're going through the desert, and they're, like, walking on his back, and like, oh, this terrain's weird and whatnot. And then he wakes up, and he just gets up. I'm like, man, you just...
sleep everywhere.
You're like, right here's fine.
I mean, when you're immune to basically everything, why not sleep anywhere?
Yeah, but I like the fact that he's just... I hope if they do another one of these, that's where his home base is at.
I know there was no end credit scene, but I would have loved the end credit scene was just back to, like, the cameras of him just sitting there and just hear him snoring softly. Like Godzilla snoring softly. Because it's like most of the movies, they end with him, like, giving this hard roar. Like, even Skull Island actually ended with that one, even though he wasn't in the movie, because it was to allude that they were doing the two movies together.
I was trying to remember the mid-credit scene for GVK. Wasn't they showed they had the skull, another skull or something like that? Or was that the end of King of the Monsters?
I don't know. I don't think that's the end of King of the Monsters. I have not watched those movies in a very long time. I remember the movie, but I don't remember what came where. But, yeah. It was also kind of interesting that we didn't really have any extra, like, too many extras in the movie.
No. And, I was like, the relationship, the whole mom thing with the kid and whatnot, I was just like, okay, well, they kind of pared down everybody, but they're really trying hard to be like, you should care about these two. You should care about those two. Nah.
I mean, they did better than King of the Monsters, so...
Yeah, well, no, I don't know, after rewatching King of the Monsters, like I said, if they did without the dad thing, it would have been better.
But the mom's the one that caused all the problem. At least this one, the mom wasn't the one that caused all the problem. She was trying to solve everything and help her daughter. Although that one also did involve the girl being around right when Mothra was awakened, too.
Well, and Mothra in here. Like, I don't know. It was okay. I was slightly better than GVK, but not like... I probably won't see this again for a long, long time. Yeah. Like, if I had to be like, ooh, I would like to do a Godzilla rewatch, I'd probably go to King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
Because I haven't built myself up to be like, oh, I want to watch GVK again. Mm-hmm. I've only seen it once, and I'm good.
Yeah. Both the last two, GVK and this one, do a really, like, a lot with, like, bright lights.
Oh, I was saying anybody that have, what's it, epilepsy or anything? I mean, especially when they go down, it's like... I was like
neon-y lights, too.
Yeah.
Like, Godzilla now being a neon pink from being, like, a neon blue. Kind of one of those, like, that was a weird choice for everything. And then all the sparks flying constantly. Especially in the Monarch base. Like, when she's calling her up to be like, hey, there's a problem that we need to talk to you about us losing contact with the base and Godzilla's moving. There's sparks going everywhere out there. And I'm just like, is this a normal occurrence? Because no one was attacking you guys. You guys were safe. You guys are fine. So do you guys just have spark generators that just give ambiance?
Also, too, that base that got attacked, was that Scar or was that his cronies?
I have to feel like it was one of his cronies. Because if Scar got up there, you'd think, like, he would have looked more for a portal?
That's what I'm saying. Because that when the scout guy goes and follows Kong before he gets his hand thing, I was like, you guys couldn't have done this before? Like, He could have been like, hey, maybe we should venture out of this like fire pit thingy and go look for these little portals that can get us back to Earth, because that's what he wants to do.
And they understand that the portals get them to Earth. So it's not like it's a, I don't know what this portal does, let's figure it out. It's, hey, I saw a portal, boss. That can get us back to the human realm. And you're just like...
And fun enough, they don't just show up... Well, the last one showed up in water, but the other one showed up in Egypt.
In Cairo.
Yeah.
Just literally right next to the pyramids.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
I think the pyramids were just there to show you the size of them and everything, but I like that Mothra comes in, so it's just like, hey, knock it off.
Also, did that girl go through that portal with Mothra both times?
I think so.
Because it kind of seemed like...
Because when she showed up on the pyramid, I was like...
But I feel like in GVK, they kind of explain that you need very special apparatus to make it safely through that portal. And the only reason the Titans can do it is because they're the Titans. So Mothra carrying a little girl through that entire thing seems like that would have killed her.
I think it's...
It's movie. It's movie magic.
No, there's not movie magic. They're like, she's the one. Like, I don't know what God gives her. I didn't know she had superpowers at this point to survive something like that, because when they went through, she even looked affected by the...
Yeah, they were all.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, they were in a safe ship literally made for the purpose of doing that. And you're telling me that Mothra pulled her through with no problem and then took her back.
And then have her be on that little pyramid like, oh.
You know what I think would have been really hilarious too? Or smart move at the very least. And I just kind of thought about this when Mothra was on the Sphinx. I was like, so they're back on Earth, or on the upper level of Earth, should the girl not call for Monarch to help? Because they've been trapped down there because they have no way to get back. And I originally didn't even know the dude could pilot the ship, like the one that comes in later and flies through.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, well, then what the fuck was the point of the other pilot if you already had someone that could do it?
Yeah, well, and it was funny, I was like, that guy was useless. He got...
Yeah.
He's the one that's supposed to be the tracker, being like, oh, hold on, guys, there's something going on out here. No, it's Ace Ventura. He's like, hey, in a tree.
Yeah.
A tree ate him.
And that's the only time that someone got eaten that you saw. The apes attacked, but you don't know if those people got eaten. But, yeah, it's weird because I get really big Skull Island vibes from the forest they're in, pretty much intentionally. But I'm just like, but nothing happened to that level.
And I'm wondering why they don't let Kong go back to Skull Island.
Well, because it's on Earth.
Yeah, but
Earth is Godzilla's terrain.
Yeah, they established that, but I was like, that's his home. They just kind of like, here, you're now in the underworld. But
I mean, to be fair, him being contained on that one island, because when he was little, that was not that big of a deal. But now that he's gotten bigger, it probably is.
I like that he went home alone.
Yeah.
When he was running through, I was like, oh, how cute. He has little traps all over the place.
Yeah. No, it's one of those, it just shows how smart Kong is.
Yeah.
Godzilla wouldn't set up traps. Godzilla would just attack. And you think about, Godzilla versus Kong in Hollow Earth, Kong may win. Kong probably has a better chance. Well, he has a better chance than in...
Godzilla becomes a Joe Pesci.
Yeah. Just starts swearing in kaiju.
All right, what would you rate it?
Give it a solid 6 out of 10.
Really? I'm a 5.5.
Okay.
I'm a 5.5 on this one. So, all right, y'all. Tell me what you think of the movie. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Share it with your grandma. Share with the bum down at Walmart. This was a pleasure, sir. Mm-hmm. And I am KMB the Sexy Ninja.
And I'm Doug.
Welcome to the Wicked Shit.